What's up guys, Max here, and you might have saw a reaction video which popped up over the past week for a arcade game that's going to be making an appearance from Square Enix in Japan, and it's for Final Fantasy Dissidia. This game we're not going to have any other information about until around the middle of April. So we're going to get a lot more concrete details of the system, the mechanics, the characters, its release schedule, everything like that at that point. But I wanted to talk about some stuff in regards to Dissidia, my history with the series, which is very brief, but kind of why this game sparks my interest so much. Dissidia is kind of more an arena fighter. If you guys might not have checked out these previous games, they did make an appearance on the PSP. I have both of them, the original Final Fantasy Dissidia and Final Fantasy Dissidia 012, and I will fully admit that I was never amazing at either of the games, mostly because I kind of just can't stand handheld gaming for longer periods of time. There was a situation where Smash Brothers came out, and I did want to dedicate a lot of time to that because I knew that over time Smash Brothers was going to be coming out on the console version, so I wanted to dedicate more time to getting good with characters like Mega Man. But when it came to Dissidia on the PSP and its kind of, lack of options in terms of competitive play, and it was kind of difficult to play people because of the local stuff and everything like that outside of emulation, it didn't really motivate me to play a whole bunch. You kind of realize that if you have a versus fighting game that you don't want to really get amazing at it unless you get to do really cool stuff while fighting somebody. I did really love the concept of Dissidia, but the overall system and mechanics are kind of hard to get used to, and I never really understood it to a very high degree. So even with Dissidia and both the games I purchased, I never put in enough time to really get it, and I see that what's happening now with Dissidia, an arcade version, that if you have an arcade version of the game that's not present on a console, the game needs to be dumbed down. And I don't mean dumbed down like in a bad way, I mean that you can't just let crazy mechanics roam about the game. You kind of have to focus things quite a bit for an arcade experience, and that isn't exactly a bad thing. It can actually make some fighting games more accessible, and a game that exists already is like Street Fighter 4, and the mechanics that were initially present in Street Fighter 4 did not seem like that much, and even within the first month it was like, wow, did we figure out everything for Street Fighter 4? Absolutely not. There was a lot of stuff discovered over many years for that game that was not initially intended from the developers, and that's kind of how fighting games with lesser mechanics work. People discover stuff, and this is stuff that wasn't intended at all, and it makes the fighting game what we know to what it is today. And especially with a game like Dissidia, I would love for them to do something like that. Please make the game a little bit more focused, because I would prefer there to be a lot less crazy system mechanics, make it a little bit more approachable in terms of how life bars work and stuff like that, to make it a much more focused experience. So I would love to get a chance to play this game early on, but because it's only coming out in Japan right now, I'm a little disappointed. But we do know a couple of other pieces of info. The game is indeed 3 versus 3, and we have no confirmation whether or not this is a proper team-up game, whether or not people in the arcade can take control of like all 3 characters on a team versus 3 other characters on a team. That sounds like some Rise of Incarnate stuff. I don't think that's it. It'll most likely be a situation where you have a main character and 2 partner characters that assist you in certain ways. There are other games and arena-style fighters that already do stuff like this, so I would prefer it to be that way. I don't want it to be kind of too insane on every match. But just in general, a lot of folks are asking me, well, why would you be excited for Dissidia, and why wouldn't you be excited for, this Naruto game that's coming out, or Dragon Ball Xenoverse that's right across the way, or Rise of Incarnates? And mostly it's because, as I've said many times before, and I've made many videos talking about this in previous Real Talk episodes, I truly believe that characters make fighting games, and people will disagree with me, and you're allowed to, by all means, considering that this is my opinion. I love to play as a character that's awesome, that I have a personal attachment to, and make them do freaking amazing things. That's one of my biggest reasons for playing fighting games. And when you see Cloud in this game, and you see the Warrior of Light and other characters that I might not want to play as, I won't talk to them because you're allowed to be a fan of Lightning. I just want to play them so freaking bad. I want to discover stuff, I want to make them look awesome, even though everyone and their mother would be playing Cloud in an arcade version of Dissidia, much less a console version that I would hopefully hope to come out. And that's kind of what it boils down to, is that I think the characters in this game look freaking fantastic, but the environments not so much. It kind of shows that the game is still very early in development, but oh my god, those character models, those animations, they look like Square Enix-like masterpieces. They look freaking fantastic. I love what they did with the look of Cloud. I always kind of disliked that the last big CG render we saw of him was like the FF7 PS3 version of him, and I never really liked the way he looked in that. I think his design has made a big upgrade in a situation like this new Final Fantasy version, so I'm very happy with it. I want to play as that damn character. Please make it happen, Square. I want this game to make an appearance in a form that is not the arcade. I would love it to start off as an arcade game. They balance the game, they check its appeal in Japan. I'm sure it'll be a very popular game, and make an eventual release on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast. I don't care. Put it on something, put it on a console, make it online, make it so that we can fight people in an online environment, and have awesome matches that we can share with each other, and stream, and everything like that. Please, that is how you can make games more popular, Square. Do not limit this only to a Japanese environment. Take our money. I'm being serious here. You have people that are desperate for Final Fantasy VII stuff, that love it to death, that have been asking for a remake, and you saw my reaction to the FF7 press conference. People don't want to be trifled with anymore. I would prefer to give you my money for something awesome. And in my opinion, Dissidia looks very early, and it looks very awesome. Let us play it. Let us get a hold of it. I love these characters. I love them fighting. I think it looks fantastic. And it's something that I want to be a reality more than almost anything, because it's almost up there with like Square Enix versus Capcom, you know? It kind of gave me like a glimmer of hope that based off that previous Street Fighter video, this could be something. And it's even crazier how I was just having a conversation with a close friend that we do videos with, how, you know, it'd be great, you know, it'd be totally awesome if Square Enix just made up their minds and finally did something to use all the Final Fantasy characters, and not like Dissidia where it's only available on the PSP or something like a handheld console. Put it on as much things as possible, render out your Final Fantasy characters with as many polys and effects as you possibly can, make them look amazing, and have them fight each other in a 2D environment. Now, that didn't exactly come true. Half of it did. Characters aren't fighting in 2D, but we got something that's pretty damn close, and considering I was discussing this with a friend not that long ago, I find it pretty amazing that we're getting something that's almost very similar to that. And oh my god, we are so close to it being a reality that I can taste it, much less maybe get a chance to play something at it at E3 down the line and give you guys some impressions, so I only hope it's true, because dude, I want to play as Cloud and have him look amazing in something where I can actually play people competitively, and I want to give it a shot. I really, really, really want to see what they can do with a fighting game like this, and not be Air Guys. God bless the ring. As always, dudes, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with more information of Final Fantasy Dissidia Arcade as soon as possible, and it's probably not going to be until April. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your follows and subscriptions and comments very much on this, because damn, Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.